It's like, well, if you're a Jew, you're a Zionist. You have to be. I know people in my family who aren't Zionists. Well, this guy's an ultra-Orthodox Haredi Jew. He hates the gays. He hates everybody else. He hates, every Christian because this Jew I heard about in Israel maybe who did something I didn't agree with. Well, that's the same as this Jew in LA or this Jew in Colorado. That's crazy.
Do you have an issue with non-Jews coming to the Jewish community and saying this is what being a Jew is like, and in fact it's genocidal and pro-apartheid and anti-Arab? Do you have an issue with that?
Well, yeah, I do, honestly, because I have no issues with the Arab community. I've asked my dad, hey Dad, what does it mean to be Jewish? He couldn't answer me. He says, what do you think it means? Because that's what the question is. You ask any Jew, what does it mean to be Jewish? You'll get a different answer. Well, every Jew suddenly has to believe the same thing. So if you characterize a Jew, you say, well, this guy's an ultra-Orthodox Haredi Jew. He hates the gays. He hates everybody else. He hates, every Christian because this Jew I heard about in Israel maybe who did something I didn't agree with. Well, that's the same as this Jew in LA or this Jew in Colorado. That's crazy. They're Jewish, so they believe this. They're a Zionist-occupied government. That's one, Zog. If you see that online, Z-O-G, that's what that means, Zionist-occupied government. That every Jew is a Mossad agent or controlled by the Zionists or controlled by the Israeli government or seek to overthrow people. There could be people who have a cousin 5 delineations down their family tree who married into a Jewish family, and they'll be put on a list of Jewish CEOs. It's insane. It really is. And it's like, well, if you're a Jew, you're a Zionist. You have to be. I know people in my family who aren't Zionists. And then if you say, I know what a Jew is. I'm not Jewish, but I know what a Jew is. Okay, so I know what a Christian is. And you say, well, all Christians are Catholic. Just like all Jews are Haredi. You can't make these assumptions. You shouldn't, at least.
Seems a little prejudiced, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just like thinking all Muslims are terrorists or they're all jihadists. There's obviously an issue with that, but suddenly all Jews are Zionists. Or if you're Jewish, you should be questioned as to your loyalty to America because you think Israel deserves to exist. I think Belgium deserves to exist. I love their fries. Suddenly, I'm a Belgium nationalist? The problem is people don't see people as individuals. Because it's not easy to do so. There's no statistical data on individuals. You atomize everything down to the individual, but you take that too far, everything becomes statistics. Everything becomes groups of people doing X. That's where prejudice lies. You can say, hey, I think the Israeli government is not doing a good job in Gaza. That's a policy discussion. But if you say, hey, I want you to know as a Jew, Israel doesn't deserve to exist. Well, now we have a problem. Just like if you said, I believe France doesn't deserve to exist. If someone was French or had French ancestry, I'd assume they'd have a problem with that. And the assumption, of course, is that you run up to a Jew and you say, from the river to the sea. Well, that's insulting.
You've experienced this, right?
Well, of course I have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible not to on this campus. Yeah. People run up with kafiyas. They say, if you're a Zionist, you're as bad as a Nazi. Is not only categorically incorrect and definitionally wrong, it's insulting.
What do you think is the problem taking the title of the group of people that killed 6 million Jews in the Holocaust and then slapping it as a definition for all Jewish people or just Zionists?
It's historically inaccurate. It's just insulting, and I say that because really it's absurd. It is absurd. It is by definition incorrect. And if you take any of the definitions, if you're anything more than historically ignorant, then you know it's wrong. When you demand the destruction of the state of Israel, not for its actions, but because it's a state for Jews, that is anti-Semitic. Especially when you take an American Jew, you run up to them and you say, hey, I want you to know, I don't think Israel deserves to exist. And I don't think your opinion on Israel is anything more than a dual loyalty to a state that's genocidal. I'm just trying to get home. Or I'm just trying to talk to some people on the plaza. I didn't even mention this. But you see me, so you have to run up and tell me what you think, and then you run off. And it hurts. But it doesn't hurt as much as knowing that these people really don't want to learn. They don't want to be educated. They don't care.
Have you had any other examples of anti-Semitism happening to you or to friends, stuff you've witnessed?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, there were people who were on this campus, Jewish women who felt unsafe. They were run out of their classes. If you wear any Jewish paraphernalia, you Magen David, a Hamsa, a Tree of Life, anything like that, you'll be targeted. And there's another time, personally, I was out on the plaza talking to someone. I feel a sharp pain, in my side. I look down and there's a penny. Someone threw a penny at me. And I thought, oh, maybe it was just an accident. Then another. And that, that's not only assault, battery, but it's anti-Semitic, it's racist, it's horrible.
Well, Jacob, I think your perspectives have been really awesome. Really thankful for you to share them. One last question that I have for you.
Of course.
For those students or non-students that are not Jewish, aren't part of the Jewish community, but they see rising anti-Semitism and they're saying, I don't know what to do, but I feel like this is evil. What should they do?
Listen, you don't have to be a superhero. It's okay if you just want to say, I want to make some Jewish friends, and you see a Jewish friend being bullied, just walk over. Your presence alone is enough to freak people out, that they're not standing alone. Because that's the scariest thing. When a Jewish student is being surrounded with Palestinian flags, maybe someone who was we had a person come who was speaking, who was from the music festival Massacre on October 7th, and to see how they looked in horror at all the Palestinian flags that lined this campus, they felt alone. We didn't want them to feel alone, but that's how it feels sometimes when you're thinking, I'm the only Jew here, and they're gonna come for me. So all you gotta do really, talk to people, walk up to them, say, hey, how's it going? You see a conversation getting heated, you just walk over, you say, hey, how are you guys still going? What are you talking about? You don't have to do anything special, but being there is enough for a lot of people.